Hello, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days, few weeks, really. Dear family, how are you? I think we're already feeling the story of eclipses. We are immersed in the eclipse season. This time that I call the divine intervention time, where we are called into alignment with the frequency that belongs to us, so that by resonance we can match the divine design of our lives. So the time has come for me to address the first eclipse of the season. It's a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 25th degree between the 17th and the 18th of September. So we call this Virgo Pisces axis the axis of existence, because it's quite all-encompassing. No? On one side, it addresses our health and balance in the physical and mental realms through Virgo, and then the emotional and spiritual realms through Pisces. I do want to say this is a North Node eclipse, and we still have the North Node in Aries. This is important because it will help us make sense of what it is we are dissolving and culminating through this Piscean eclipse, because that's what it is. It's an ending. It's a full moon. So we've been working with the Aries energy in this pull from the future, this calling into a new dawn, beginning, an initiative energy, an opening of new paths, the courage to create a new destiny, right? And even though this Pisces eclipse is giving us a trailer, like letting us know what we're gonna elaborate once the nodes get there, 2025 till 2027, the eclipse is in collaboration with Aries Libra energies, because it makes space, it empties, it makes the space so that this new dawn becomes possible. So if we consider that we are walking towards Neptune and Saturn jumping from Pisces to Aries together 2025 and 2026, we understand why whatever unfolds now, it's necessary. It's of vital importance, actually. So I bring this because there is actually a very big amplification of the Piscean realm, the Pisces energies, and they can sometimes bring the experience of uncertainty, because Piscean energies require surrender, a surrender to the mystery. There is a dissolution, a dissolving of an old dream, of the identity of the ego, an ending that has a dimension that truly transcends this incarnation. It's really big. It's a soul culmination. Now, also it could be understood as a graduation of a stage of the soul journey, so we can enter a new stage. But it's so big, really, it's so wide that I find it hard to find words to describe it, to contain it. No? The beauty is that we actually manage the immensity of this energy through Virgo, where the sun is, and that's here and now, in the moment, in the detail, in the practical, in whatever is in our hands, where we actually can claim agency to move our will connected to the will of the divine, of God and the goddess. No, it's really the beginning of attuning ourselves with this new dream from the dream world, which is the Neptunian realm, that is beginning to draw the magic of what is coming next. So Neptune is the regent of Pisces. He is in Pisces. He is conjunct the moon for the eclipse, so it's big. Let's recall. Neptune entered Pisces in 2011. So we are culminating this spiral of time. But as always, there is this, what's the word? Well, many spirals happening together. So we can also think of this as a culmination of an era, no, the Piscean era. And when we see this cosmic kite in the sky, because that's the drawing in the chart, and we understand this is the final time this kite is gonna happen in the earth and water signs. It's beautiful to see how this water dissolves the earth, I mean the shape of reality, so it can be like clay reshaped into a new reality. So that's why we're feeling this now intuitively, that it is a massive combination, and it can also become an extraordinary liberation. So that's what this eclipse does. It dissolves, it's like an undoing. We offer something, we surrender something to the light and the shadow of the eclipse because it has fulfilled its purpose. Something gets completed here. We've integrated this, we've healed this, we've been elaborating this. And this is like closing a stage of our spiritual development in our experience so we can enter a new call of service. Now there's something beautiful happening. I think I mentioned here, there is this trine of talents, they call it, between the transpersonal planets. And now the moon is implied there because she's next to Neptune. So she's having dialogues from Urano, and there's another beautiful dialogue from Pluto as well. The moon is there in the apex point of this configuration. Nothing is more intimate and personal than the moon. So what is this asking of us? Really? To feel, to allow ourselves to feel. It's so beautiful to see this sky with this weaving of conversations, of harmonic conversations that truly supports through these very big planetary forces our dissolving patterns, transcending patterns of something that was familiar, that feels, that comes from the subconscious, our subconscious and the collective subconscious, and it feels very ancestral as well, and it's an opportunity of cleansing, of letting go, because it gets illuminated, and then we can create all this space for regeneration. It's important to actually hold the empty space so these new dreams can be dreamt. Is it emotional? Well, it's extremely emotional because it is like entering holy waters to cleanse our souls, to heal, to cry, to purify, to reconnect with the spiritual divine essence. And let us not forget, though, that there is a radiant, beautiful sun in Virgo that is holding the string of this kite to the earth. So it's speaking of grounding, of keeping ourselves embodied, so we can actually make sense of the immensity of this ocean through our daily lives, creating the connection between the above and the below in our choice, moment by moment, in our breath. The eclipse, it's actually happening between Neptune and Saturn, so it's also conjunct Saturn, and this to me also gives a sense of like a container to all of this ocean, which is beautiful, and it invites us to live through our emotional body, our astral body, with authority, with responsibility, cultivating sovereignty within our own watery realms. And also think about it, for the moon to get to the 25th degree of Pisces, she will go through Saturn a few hours before. She will have this meeting with the master of reality and structure. Now, this inner authority, he's going to tell the moon, this is it. It's going to make it evident, clear, and it's going to let her know this is necessary. This is the path towards maturing, towards growing. This is an initiation into your next stage of service. So it can also be a ceremony, you see. Think about this. The North Node is going to move into Pisces next year. And this is the school of compassion and unconditional love. We are to integrate a new frequency of this school of mystery, of this archetype. And this new experience to me has to do with, instead of sacrificing the I am, I mean the self, in order to be of service to divinity on earth, we are doing this through integrating the I am. I hope this is making sense. So it is about just raising ourselves into this spiritual experience, but here, without escaping, without wanting to escape from earth. It's right here. This is it. This is the garden. Now there is a new, I feel it like there is new assignments, like new assignments for your service on earth. Perhaps it's not entirely clear how, but everyone that is called to be, and honestly we are all called to be of service to this transition of times, to be of service to the human soul. We are feeling there is a new way, a new opening, a new assignment really. Even though it's not so clear, this is the beginning of that adventure. So the eclipse is also creating a square to Jupiter in Gemini, and I see two frequencies here actually because Gemini. So on the one side it feels like this anxiety for knowing, for understanding, for controlling through the mind, no, for asking a lot of questions, and this can bring a lot of restlessness and actually anxiety. Is this true? Is this not true? The mind is overstimulated and is trying so hard to understand something that is not understandable through the realm of thought. It's intuitive, no? So Jupiter can amplify this experience of restlessness, or we can tap into Jupiter expanding our radical trust, our radical faith, and letting this eclipse also dissolve patterns of thought and belief systems, opening ourselves into a wider and wilder cosmology, you know. So what are we gonna tune ourselves with? No, that's our choice. Look, the last degrees of Pisces are really shunyata. They are the empty space, the realm of possibility, of miracles, of mystery itself. So we have to surrender the need to know and the need to understand. We have to enter the realm of trust. Whatever is culminating has served its purpose, and it's always important to remember that eclipses bring like predestined events into our lives, and they always put us in the place where we belong, you know. Neptune is really culminating a big cycle here, so a new dream can be dreamed. And in the practical sense, we manage this energy, we manage this restlessness and anxiety through compassion, through presence, through embodiment. I mentioned the mind because there's also a Mercury there in Virgo opposing Saturn, and this can also feel like worrying a lot, like the need to have the details, and we don't have the details when it comes to this kind of energy. So they are squaring Jupiter, so it can amplify frustration with the mind, and this will show up, and I invite you to look at this also through the lens and the embrace of compassion. But this frustration shows up when we are trying to control through our minds, when we are overthinking and overanalyzing. Actually, I would suggest for the next several weeks, I mean for life, no, but especially now, to give the mind a break, to like engage in activities that actually rest our mind, no, whether it is contemplation or writing or listening to music, and of course meditation, so we can descend from that realm into our hearts and into this water space that actually has a lot of answers right now. In terms of relationships, where is the South Node? It's still in Libra. So many of these patterns that emerge from the subconscious mind and experience are relationship patterns. That's what we're cleansing, you know, because everything is relationship, and in order to restore balance in our lives, personal and collective, we need to cleanse these patterns in which we have been relating in a power over paradigm, to say the least, no? And Venus is also in Libra. She's actually in front of Chiron by the time of the eclipse, and this triggers these wounds that begin in relationship. Every wound begins in relationship because we are relational. So some of these fears from Libra may arise, like the fear of abandonment, rejection, of loneliness as well. This through the energy and the calling of Chiron, with whom we've also been working with in the cultivation of this virtuous individuality that now learns to relate not through fear, but through love, through self-respect as well, without giving or, ¿cómo se dice ceder? Without surrendering authenticity in order to keep the belonging, but the other way around. Now learning to relate from a place of authenticity that actually emancipates whatever was trapped in these patterns that we can now heal. We are remembering, no? We are completing ourselves, integrating these exiled parts of our beings. And this is a moment for soul retrieval, really. The wound is the fragmentation, the feelings in separation from our own selves to begin with, and then we create a replica of this in our relationships. We feel we're separated, we're disconnected from life, from nature. And this eclipse and this energy can actually bring healing to this original wound. And it is not through dissolving autonomy, it is in the keeping our individuation that we enter this new dimension of service on Earth, for Earth. This eclipse in Pisces and the North Node in Aries are saying dissolve the story of the ego, the story of separation, so we can go back into unity consciousness by being the one, by being the all that is expressed in the one that is the I am. I hope I made sense with this. Also want to mention Venus is actually still weaving a beautiful dialogue trine with Jupiter, and this lightens the moment, no, from the depth of these emotional realms, because it brings joy, it brings blessings through what? Through giving ourselves value, through self-love. The more love we can give ourselves and receive, the stronger and the more confident we will feel, because there is here a celebration of who we are, just how we are right now, without postergating our active participation in our lives until what? Until when we are healed. It's about just celebrating who we are today, knowing that that is perfect, that is enough. And we are walking towards the equinox in Libra, so I will speak to this in a later video, but it's interesting. The eclipse season and the equinox in Libra is talking about a rebalancing, like a divine justice moment for the next at least 3 months, like a balancing of karma, I would say, to restore harmony and balance within all our relationships. And I also want to say that there might be rewards. The harvesting, I see it like harvesting pearls. You know how it takes a long time for pearls to be formed, right? And because we are having a sort of deja vu experience, in a way for me, it's like we can go back or feel like we're in moments that seem like a deja vu. And I would say to you, where is the pearl? You can harvest the pearl of what you have committed yourself in your path. That's also here. I mean, full moons are harvests, right? So the timing is really perfect, and the scale in which we are transforming is immense. And again, we manage this through devotion and discipline in our daily rituals, in our daily life, surfing this mystical big wave with grace, with joy. Pisces is a school that is inviting us to allow ourselves to feel. To feel without judgment, without rejection, without prohibition of our own emotions. Because sometimes we cloud this by denying what we feel. And both Pisces and Virgo have to do with faith, with compassion, with purity, with unity, with service, with the retrieval of the authentic divine essence, which is a compassionate witness, a neutral witness. Both signs and the whole configuration of the sky is also calling us to establish healthy boundaries. We cannot allow our energy to be drained. We cannot live in this sacrifice paradigm of giving and depleting ourselves. Our primary focus must be to take care of ourselves. Pisces shows us the perfection and the divine integrity through the integration of opposites, through the healing of everything that has happened before. The miracle of forgiveness is here. And the eclipses in Virgo Pisces will help us restore health in every dimension, as well as retrieve the memories of our soul story and our divine connection, so we can anchor this wisdom into the tangible world where we can be of service, the service that our soul has longed for so long. So I think it's a moment that can amplify and heighten our intuition, our spiritual gifts, our mystical experiences, remembering that we ought to maintain this earth connection through Virgo by grounding it, so we can actually go through these awakenings in an ordered way that gives us structure versus chaos. There is an activation of the soul missions right now, so I see it as an opportunity to say goodbye, to let go with grace and gratitude, because there is another dream dreaming you and dreaming me already. So you know this phrase, perhaps, if compassion doesn't include you, your compassion is incomplete. I would say offer yourself grace, compassion, love, and a lot of allowing. Allow. There is an exquisite surrender that actually restores connection to the all through this very mystical energy. I wish you have a gentle, softening experience through this eclipse of creating the space for the new dream that is you to be born, to become. Blessings.